are landlords that discriminate. There are still employment sectors that discriminate.
Janice Poindexter is a transgender woman of color and activist joining lawmakers and law enforcement in calling for protections for the LGBTQ community in the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act.
It is imperative that people understand no one is asking for preferential treatment. We are asking for equality.
The state's Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination in employment, housing, and education on the basis of religion, race, color, sex, height, weight. But the LGBTQ community is not protected.
Unfortunately, the act does not specifically include sexual orientation and gender identity. And we have seen time and time again our community marginalized because we can't seek justice.
State Senator Jeremy Moss, who is gay, says it extends beyond discrimination to violence and hate crime legislation.
People who suffer hate crimes from our community, and specifically trans women of color who experience hate crimes, who are victims of crimes, they're victimized twice. First, the crime itself. Second, everybody ignoring it.
Just last month, 25-year-old Naomi Skinner, a transgender woman of color, was killed at this apartment complex in Highland Park. She was shot in the neck, her body dragged out into the hallway and left there. Police arrested her boyfriend. A few years ago, also in Highland Park, Kelly Stowe, another transgender woman of color, was murdered by a pastor who had picked her up for sex.
We need the police and the prosecutors to have more tools and more opportunities to go after people.
State Senator Adam Ollier is championing the effort to amend the laws, and he has support from prosecutors and police.
We need this law statewide. We need it right there in black and white. Crimes that target people because of sexual orientation or because of gender identity will be prosecuted as hate crimes in the state of Michigan.
The Detroit Police Department making sure its officers are trained to specifically address these issues.
How to really connect with the LGBTQ community. Because if you don't have a connection, then they don't feel valued. They don't feel that they can tell law enforcement what's really going on.
Past efforts to amend the law have failed, but these activists say they'll keep fighting.
We will continue to do every single thing we can to ensure that every single person have the rights that are entitled to them.
To amend the Elliott Larson Act to cover sexual orientation and gender identity, it's not just a fluke of a thing, it means life and death for some people.
This is not a contrived problem. This is not a fantasy. These are real people in the state of Michigan who we want to protect.
In Highland Park, Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.